And Loren led us beautifully into our next question on the 8 things you should talk about with your spouse before you decide to retire together, and that is, what is our lifestyle plan? So Loren kind of touched on it, but let's go into a little bit more, Chawn, because again, I think that's what's a little bit different about the process with families is, yes, we got to talk about your investments and your income and what you have saved for retirement. That is part of the process. But a lot of times you say to families, what do you plan to do? You're going to work part-time. Do you have a hobby? What does it look like when you're not getting up and going to work anymore?
Yeah, the financial investing is a little bit easier to talk about and maybe measure, but a conversation we're having all the time with our families is, what about the time investing? How are you going to invest your time? What does that retirement vision look like? You've heard a number of times already about having the communication, starting to think forward, think outwardly, and say, what is that retirement vision? What are we going to do? What are we going to spend our time with? So having that lifestyle plan, that's something that we're pretty passionate about. We know that the financial aspect of your retirement is not the entire picture. The financial side of it can provide you that comfort, but that isn't always the component that provides you the happiness that you still need to seek and have in retirement. So we do a lot of things with our families, whether it's volunteering, whether it's just having different reasons to get together. That way we can put some people together that are in like stages of their lifetime in retirement. Maybe you're seeking out some of those volunteer opportunities, ways to identify new activities, things that can help you find that purpose that you still need as part of your retirement journey.
And Loren, I think the answer to that question can help you decide if you should retire together, because if you both know that a trip to Europe is the thing you're going to do the day you retire, then you better retire together, because I'm not going to watch my spouse go off to Europe while I go to work, right? But if one of you is still fulfilled in your job and still loving it, and the other one's like, I need to go see those grandbabies, that's work stuff, I'm done with it, clearly a staggered retirement is going to be better.
Yeah, it could be all of the above, and we see so many different scenarios. What that question, or I guess that statement that you just made, remind me of a family that we're working with where, let's call Mr. and Mrs. Jones to keep it easy. Mrs. Jones retired. So we had this plan built. She was supposed to retire. She retired just as unscheduled, but Mr. Jones wasn't scheduled to retire for 2 more years. But he is now seeing Mrs. Jones do all the things that she wanted to do in retirement, have all this free time. So they called us and say, Mr. Jones wants to retire earlier. What does that look like? Let's rework the plan. So we see that happen. We see both retire at the same time, and it works really well for this couple. But we see this other couple retire at the same time, and they start to realize that maybe retiring together wasn't what they thought it was going to be. And really 2020 was an excellent opportunity for couples who are thinking of retiring together to kind of test drive that. Because a lot of people were working at home, spending a lot of time together at home. And again, for some people, it just reconfirmed that that is a good thing for them to do. And when ultimately they do retire together, they're going to have a lot more confidence about the successful nature of spending that extra time together. And then for some couples, they decided it wasn't a great idea. So maybe one of them is going to work longer, or both of them are going to work longer. But you know what? That's a decision that they can make on a more informed basis. And so when you make that decision on a more informed basis, you feel a lot better about whatever decision that is.
Question number 3 to talk about with your spouse before you decide whether to retire together is, will we begin Social Security together or at different times? Social Security, Chawn, a big piece of that income part of the guiding principles of retirement.
There's so much complexity when it comes to trying to plan for that Social Security decision. Whether you're a single individual, you're a couple, there's a long time frame, an 8-year time frame that any one individual can elect, or at least analyze their Social Security options and choose to make that election option. As you think about having a couples, now you just have more variables in there. Not all couples are the same age, so some of that 8-year time period for 2 people may overlap. But really, you think about it, the goal there is to try to maximize that Social Security election. And in a lot of situations, oftentimes there is some combination strategy that the rest of your plan, assuming that it stays the same, if we can look at the different election options, a combination strategy often provides a couple with that maximization of Social Security. Who doesn't want to try to get the most income out of one of your assets, which is Social Security? So understanding your options, understanding your plan, being able to get the information that you need, that can put you in a position to make a really the most informed and help you make a good decision when it comes to electing Social Security.
Thank you for watching this clip of Retiring Today, and don't forget to subscribe. If you have questions about your retirement plan, take advantage of the complimentary 15-minute retirement checkup phone call.